Hey everyone. The other day, the owner of the office property where my team works notified me that they're going to directly manage the office building instead of using a third-party management company. They went on to say that by being more hands-on, they hope to operate the building more efficiently and manage their rising operating costs more closely. And that note from the owner reiterates one of the greatest advantages of commercial real estate for private investors: the fact that you can take matters into your own hands. Very few investment options allow investors to play an active role in the performance of their investment. You can't do that with crypto or gold, you can't do that with stocks, and you can't do that with bonds. Real estate is one of the very few investment options where you can directly create value. In the same vein, I was recently in a meeting with several very experienced investors who were talking about acquisition opportunities. They noted the challenges they face in underwriting deals today and how difficult it's been to find assets that pencil. One of the investors at the meeting mentioned that his approach has been to use cost segregation to reduce his taxes and boost first-year returns. Then he finds ways to enhance the property to mitigate future expenses. He said that in times of elevated inflation, it's absolutely crucial to closely manage operating expenses. Headline inflation is back up to 4.2%, more than double the Federal Reserve target, and since the end of 2022, construction labor costs have risen by 15.6%, while construction materials have gone up by 11.3%. So adding value through property upgrades must be highly targeted to maximize returns. In addition, insurance costs are 26.4% higher than they were in 2022, but the good news is that they're down by 10.9% from their peak in 2024. And when costs are rising, experienced investors can often find ways to boost efficiency to mitigate increasing expenses. Now, there are times when commercial real estate is like a home run derby. The market aligns to simultaneously boost space demand and rent growth at the same time capital pushes into the market and drives up prices. From 2020 through 2022, average apartment values surged by 43.9%. Average industrial property prices climbed by 55.3%, and average self-storage prices jumped by 63%. But by the same token, there have been times when profitably operating commercial real estate can be more challenging. Space demand slackens just as capital is flowing away from the sector. And in between, there are times like we're in now, when there are opportunities to make smart buys, but where operational excellence is the key to fully capitalizing on the potential. In the current investment climate, investors who roll up their sleeves and sharpen their pencils to maximize returns can outperform the market. And it's times like this when the most seasoned hands-on operators can create the most value. And that's part of why private investors have dominated the buyer pool over the last few years. Since 2022, private investors have made 55 to 59% of all commercial property acquisitions over $2.5 million. Part of that has been a function of the availability of debt capital, with lenders favoring smaller loans. But just as importantly, private investors are often more tuned to the local market nuances and approach acquisitions with a value creation mindset. They're often able to find the diamonds in the rough that are overlooked by other investors. They can be nimble, and they can fine-tune their investment strategies to leverage unique features of specific assets. And that's part of the beauty of commercial real estate. It offers investors unique value creation opportunities, especially for investors who keep their eyes on the horizon.